What's interesting about the timing and location is that this attacker obviously planned the operation. He went to the arena at a time when security, if for no other way to describe it, is relaxed. The concert's almost over. There's no screening for people going in. They had already let parents in to meet their kids as they were coming out. So he goes into the outer portion there, the foyer, and waits. What's also interesting about the timing is you've got a very large density of people now leaving the concert, which gives him a greater opportunity for fatalities and injuries because they're all in one place.
Yeah,
Ron.
did you? Yeah. I don't know.
Ron went to jail.
Yeah, yeah,
I was an assistant chief at the airport after Ron had gone to the port.
right over there, yeah.
The only thing I've heard is that ISIS has claimed responsibility. Of course, there's no proof of that. There are some inconsistent statements, as you've mentioned, but it's not unusual that they would claim responsibility for something like this. They have promoted and really pushed for an attack like this. So it appears at the early onset, there's no command and control, but the investigation of this attack as it goes on will give us more information. So the early report is we have a Brit of Libyan descent, which speaks to the phenomenon that we are seeing now in France, in Great Britain, in the United States, where these are not imported attackers. They're not immigrants, they're not refugees. These are individuals that in some cases have lived there the majority of their lives or even born there. So they know the area. He probably knew the stadium. It was not picked by accident. He doesn't have to get trained up for this operation. He knows the terrain very well. And that's a huge tactical advantage when you've got someone who was born and raised in the area within a couple of miles of what they're going to hit.
What can be?
You had the attack in France last year on a similar venue. France is the #1 targeted country by the Islamic State in the world by the people in Syria and Iraq. What's interesting about this is you've got another concert venue, which is a soft target with all due respect to the security protocols that are in place. You've got an American artist that's performing. You've got the President of the United States in Israel at the same time. And it happens. Whether or not that's all factored into the date, time, location of this attack, we'll never know, but it is at least interesting and coincidental that all these things are aligned. We've been spared for what I usually attribute to two really important elements. Number one is intelligence and information sharing. We've gotten a lot better in the last 16 years since 9/11. We have joint terrorism task forces. We're doing a much better job of being proactive as it relates to thwarting plots and investigating people that are suspicious or have activities that we need to look at. And the other, unfortunately, is just sheer luck. We have been lucky. And it's not to say that someday we won't have an attack on a stadium, that we won't have a car or truck attack. Other countries are having them. And it is the now operation of choice for the Islamic State. And so, unfortunately, we hope we continue to remain lucky. It's a cliche, but see something, say something. I'm always cognizant if I'm in a movie theater when I see a person with a backpack, or if I go to a game and I see a person that has a bag that obviously exceeds the limits of what you're allowed to take into the stadium or arena, let somebody know. We can always talk to those people, ask them what it is, find out it's nothing, and say thank them for their courtesy and their patience, but I'd never ignore it. And so we have to get as diligent as our colleagues have in the Middle East and Europe about letting the authorities know when they see something that just doesn't look like it fits.